Hi, welcome back guys. I'm Nisha, I'm mom to 14. I have 12 children still at home, and today we're going to go over a couple things. So we're going to go over how I get it all done in a day. We're going to go over meal planning and how I do that. We're going to go over a little bit about meal preparation and how to save time and money on doing all those things. So today we just got back from church a couple hours ago, and we eat at church. We had chili at church. I made that this morning, just in the Instapot, really quick recipe. Did that, had some apple pie, apple crisp I guess it was. Along with that, we brought that along with us because we always bring pretty much what we're going to consume because we're doing dairy-free, gluten-free. The younger kids, we let them, if there's other things there, then they're allowed to have that there. But the people who know that they need to have things that way, then they'll do whatever. But in our house, we just do dairy-free, gluten-free, soy-free, and only organic corn. We also try to do as organic as possible. If you haven't been here before, we homestead, we grow a lot of our own food, we raise animals for meat consumption. We also have large vegetable gardens and put up a lot of our canned goods. We've been homesteading for about 15 years. I started with a garden, and then I got chickens after that and goats, and just kind of grew and grew. So now we grow about 90% of our food, and I mean, not of our food, of our meat. And then I'm not quite sure about our vegetables. We eat quite a bit fresh. We're trying to grow more and more each year, but we don't grow massive amounts that would be able to produce enough for our family at this point. So anyhow, let's jump into what I do to help us out. So some days I like to do meal prepping. So some days I might just have like an hour of the day, and I might throw some meals together just in the freezer, just freezer type meals or Instapot meals that I could make into a freezer meal. And I would just throw those in baggies and throw them in the freezer, so the day of, it would be so much easier just for me to pull it out, put it in Instapot, throw some rice on the Instapot, or some potatoes in the oven for baked potatoes, and it just makes it really quick and easy. We like to grow and eat food that have one ingredient foods because we want that nutrition and the nutritional value for our family and for our children. And it's a huge commitment, a time commitment, but also like a financial commitment, and it's a commitment all around. It takes a lot of my day to be able to produce these things, and anything that I can use to help, I do, or I try to do. So I do use an Instapot. I do use just different tools, like my little kitchen helpers that aren't humans, you know, like the Instapot, or blenders. Dasher blenders work really well for soups and such. So what I do to start is I have a list, so I will show you. Let me see. I'll pop some pictures at the end so you can see this better. So I start with, this is this month's in September, so I just have a like a school type calendar from 2022 to 2023. Yeah, my hands are a lovely color. My daughter turned 8 today, so after church we had a party, and her theme was like 8 is great, and it's just our family here. But I decided that we could have like a tie-dye party, and I didn't wear gloves, so I have tie-dyed hands. So when I have a day that I decide that I'm going to put some things in the freezer, I would write that down. A lot of times it would be like, okay, if I went to the store recently, we ran out of some of our meats, so I went to the store and I bought some chicken. I have that in a video, the chicken that I bought. So the chicken that I made out of those were orange chicken, cranberry chicken, honey mustard chicken, chicken fried rice, lemon chicken, buffalo chicken, chicken stir fry, and I made a chicken pot pie. So I made all of those meals, and so I have it written down here, chicken meals in the freezer. Now I just have these written on, like, I'll show it to you. See how I just kind of wrote it? It's not like, I don't have a specific calendar that this is doing. but I have it written on like just a day of the week. This is right after my September menu, menu written out like days of the week calendar. And I just put those here. So I do that for each thing that I've prepared ahead. So I don't have to prepare ahead everything all at once, but I prepared those ahead. So then I have sausage meals, and I have Jag put aside for sausage meals. Then I have hamburger meals, and I have meatballs, sweet and sour meatballs, sloppy Joe, taco soup, shepherd's pie, and chili are all put aside for those. Vegetarian meals, I have pumpkin soup put in the, it's actually not pumpkin soup. It has pumpkin chopped, diced up, and the onions and peppers and all the seasonings in it. So I could, I have a recipe that we can do in the Instapot that doesn't take much time at all. Basically, you saute it for a couple minutes, then you turn it on high for a couple minutes, and then bam, you have butternut squash soup. So that works out really well. And then just the other day, the video, it came up horrible, but I'm posting a video. Actually, it's today that I'll have it posted. I'll have it posted tonight, which this video won't be coming out tonight. That will actually have these pork meals that I made. So I made 2 maple mustard, I made 2 cranberry, and I made 2 Italian. So as you can see, I put 2 little slashes next to them here. So then when I go to make my menu, I turn over to the actual October date, and I have it like this. So I'm going to add breakfasts that I have things available. And then down here, I started to do my, what I'm having for supper. So what I do is I'll have one color for breakfast, one color for supper, and one color for lunch. So I have right now, I did red for breakfast, and this is just, what we're gonna have is just gonna like rotate 7 days a week, and that's through the month, but I'll write it down on each day. And then next month I'll probably do some different things. Breakfast, I kind of tend to do that way. So Sunday would be quiche. Mondays, pancakes and smoothie. Those are gluten-free pancakes. They're actually made with like just bananas and yeah, I might try one. I have a recipe for a pumpkin one. I might try that. So oatmeal's on Tuesday, eggs and potatoes on Wednesday. Thursday I have oatmeal again, you know, because it's cheap. Friday is muffin and smoothie, and Saturday is eggs and potatoes. If you are totally paleo, you cannot have the oatmeal. That's okay. You can make either flax, porridge, whatever you want to call it, or you could do like chia seed. For a while we weren't doing it, and we would do like chia seed and almond milk, make a pudding into it. So that will rotate Sunday through Saturday all the way through the month. So then next what I do is I'll go back and forth from what I have left from last month. That's what was already written down a little bit. So on these chicken meals, last month I had, see that color there? That's the color I was using last month for my dinners. So when I use something for my dinner from that month, it would be that color. Now see, I have some greens on there. I have already added those to my menu for October. See how I have here, I have the green on there? Okay. So let's see. I already have honey mustard chicken, I have taco soup from the freezer, I have cranberry chicken, I have fish patties. Okay, so there we go. Friday is going to be fish patties. So the other day on the pork video, I started to talk a little bit about, but it kind of cut my voice out. I started to talk about a little bit about what meals are cheap for your family. And one thing that's cheap for our family is fish patties. So a couple years ago, I wanted to find out what, I was watching, one of the boys or us actually watching an Alaska show, and they were dip netting some fish. So I wanted to know if anything in my state could be dip netted, because I I like to try to think that I'm an efficient person, and I don't really want to sit there all day with a line and a pole and get one fish, because one fish is not going to feed 14 people. So I found out that you can dip net alewives. So we went down and we went a couple different spots and we asked locals and this type of stuff. So the locals said that the lobster men actually dip net the alewives in order to catch lobster. So a lobsterman let us know of one of these spots that they go to do this. So we went down there, and lo and behold, we caught lots of alewives. So the law is that you can have 25 alewives per day per person. People 16 and older do need a license. People 16 and under do not need a license. I have lots of 16 and unders in my household, so older people who had licenses could help the 16 and unders dip net these fish. So that is really a cheap meal. So I didn't really know what to do with them. I just saw that you could smoke them. Herring, alewives, same thing. They can get smoked. So I smoked them and I canned them. And then I'm like, I don't know what the heck am I going to do with these things. So one day I was like, well, I ran out of salmon because I used to buy like cans of salmon. And I was like, I'm going to try to make salmon patties. And it makes delicious salmon patties. Nobody knew the difference. They were good with it, and it was super cheap. So my Fridays are going to be fish patties, which is with that fish, sweet potato fries, and vegetable. So all my Fridays in October, that is what they're going to be. So those are already in there. So then I have chickens on Thursday. So all meals that I had left over from the chicken meals, they're on Thursday. And then Tuesday I was doing taco soup because I had those in the freezer as well. And then, let's see, Sunday, I have various types of things. But we did put the pork in there. As we move into winter, what I like to do on Sundays is take a meal and like a roast, any type of roast. I can take a chicken, I can take a beef, I can take a pork, and put that in the roaster. And then I throw tons of vegetables in there, throw some water in there, cover it, turn it on low, go to church, come home, and we actually eat at church. So we would eat lunch at church, go home, come home, and then turn it up a little bit, make some biscuits if I'm going to make biscuits or something like that to go with it. And supper time, we have a huge meal, and then I can like use that for the next meals. So I'm going to show you how I do that actually on the 30th of this month, just so you understand what's going on there and how that will look. And actually in November, most of my Sundays are going to be that, because then I'll have meat again in the freezer. We've only done one pig so far, and we are running low on our meat. So that's kind of like where we're here. So I'm going to add the pork meals, or any of the meals that I have left over from here onto my menu now. So let's see, I have one sloppy Joe left over, and then I have my pork meals. So let's make one day just be for pork. Let's have Saturday be for pork, and I'll rotate maybe the maple mustard. So we'll do maple mustard, pork, and then I'll probably do mashed potatoes, and then veg. I can lots of vegetables, so if I write veg, basically what I'll be doing is I will see if there's anything in my gardens first. If there is, then I'll use that. And if there's not, then we'll use what's in the freezer next, because we need to empty our freezers of the vegetables that we have in there so that we can make room for the meat. And then after that, then I would choose to use something canned. So I'm going to do 2 days for maple mustard chicken. I mean, not chicken, pork, sorry. Mashed potatoes and veg. And then I'm gonna do 2 days. So then on my slip here, I'm going to use this marker and mark those days off so I know when they're getting eaten, what month they're getting eaten. And this becomes incredibly helpful, especially once you have lots of things in the freezer that might carry month to month to month. Then you'll know, okay, this is getting in this month, this is getting in this month. You could even do the same type of thing if you wanted to get specific as far as week by week. So maple mustard chicken. So then 2 of these, I'm gonna do Italian chicken. Italian chicken. I mean, I keep saying chicken. Italian pork. And that's gonna be with baked potatoes and veg. And then the bottom will be Italian chicken. Again, chicken, pork, baked potato, and veg. So now we have all our Saturday meals done. So now we have our Friday, we have our Thursday, Friday, Saturday done. I'm going to go back. We have Tuesday done, and we have Sunday, except for that last Sunday, done. So we need a Monday and we need a Wednesday. So my Monday can easily be spaghetti. I'm actually going to, I'm thinking of some things that I have in my freezer right now. I have pesto in my freezer that we poured into little cups. And so I have enough pesto for probably 4 meals, but I don't want to do all pesto meals. I think I'll do pesto for 2 of these meals, and then maybe do meatballs with spaghetti squash for 2 meals. So let's do that. So we'll do pesto, spaghetti, and that will be made with gluten-free pasta. So pesto, spaghetti, and then I'll put a salad with that, and then pesto and spaghetti and a salad with that. And then for the other 3 days, I'm going to have meatballs and spaghetti squash. Which means, because I didn't have any meatballs over here left, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little note over here on the side that I need to do a batch of pork meatballs, because I only have pork right now. I don't have hamburger. So I'm just going to write over here, pork meatballs needed for 3 meals. So I'll know that when I have a moment throughout the next couple weeks, I'll put the pork meatballs together for these 3 meals, and they'll be in the freezer, and then I'll write it over here so I'll know that those are, I'll probably end up doing more than the 3 meals, and then that would carry on until the next month. So I'll write these meatballs and spaghetti squash. I usually do 15 to 20 pounds of meatballs at a time, because if you're doing meatballs, you might as well just do a big batch of meatballs instead of just doing meatballs for one time, and then it saves you from lots of times. Spaghetti squash and meatballs. And that will also have salad. Salad, add the salad there, salad. Okay, so let's see. So we have a Tuesday, which I'm going to put down pork carnitas because we have pork now. So, and this is actually, let me go on Wednesday first, and then I'll explain the Sunday and carryover thing. Okay, so Wednesday, what should we do for Wednesdays? Did I have, okay, so I can do 2 cranberry pork. And then I have some chicken wings. I have 4 bags of chicken wings left from last year, so I'm gonna write those, excuse me. Let's do chicken wings with fried potatoes. And veg. And then the cranberry pork. Let's see. The next day we're having rice, so I'll probably do cranberry pork with fried potatoes as well. I have a tickle in my throat. So I'll do 2 chicken wing days with fried potatoes and veg, and then 2 cranberry pork days. Fried potato and veg. Okay, there we go. So we have all those done. So if you look at the menu now, all the bottoms are done except for here. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to write down a pork roast for this Sunday. So it'll be a pork roast in roaster, and I'll know what that means. To me, like I said, it means potatoes and carrots and turnips and beets, whatever we have in the garden, thrown in there with seasoning and the pork roast with some water, onions, peppers, whatever we have thrown in there, and that will be ready for the supper. Now, we'll have leftovers of this, and then, so the next day we have spaghetti squash. The day after that, we will have sorry, my low battery button came on, so I am going to plug you in. This is actually my husband's phone, and it doesn't want to plug in. Okay, we'll just try to finish up. We should have enough battery in there. Okay, so pork in the roaster, and then we have pork carnitas. With rice, and those will be on cassava flour tortillas. We'll do the pork carnitas on there, serve some rice on the side, probably some applesauce, or maybe some apples. I'm not quite sure. We have tons of apples that we just picked. That was in another video as well. Okay, so now we have all our breakfast and all our suppers. I am going to shut you guys off for a minute, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to give you how I'm going to do my lunches, but my little baby is fussing in the back. You can probably hear her, and the phone needs to get plugged in. So I am going to do that, and I'll be back. I'm back with baby. She's nursing. So basically this time of year, we are doing lots of lots of soups. So first of all, for lunches, I picked a different color, so we can tell what colors breakfast, lunch, or dinner. So I have 2 days a week that we're gonna do leftovers, and then Sunday is at church. So Sundays I don't need to put anything on, because it's something that I'll prepare something ahead of time and then bring that to church. And usually that's something like chili or butternut squash soup, or something that I can put in the Instapot and bring it like that. Okay, and that is something that I am going to be working with my middle children. So I have like grown adults, and then teens, and then middle children, and then little kids. So that's something that I'm going to work with my middle children on working on some Instapot recipes. So I'll probably take one each week to be able to work on different Instapot recipes. So we might make chili, you know, for 3 weeks, but I've done it with 3 different children so they can learn how to do that. Okay, so we have Mondays, which is going to be not a leftover day. Monday, I think we have tons of butternut squash. We have tons and tons of butternut squash. We have tons and tons of pumpkin. So I think my kids are perfectly fine with butternut squash soup. So I think 2 days a week we're going to do butternut squash soup, because literally I have over 50 pumpkins and about equal of butternuts. So I think twice a week we're going to do butternut squash soup. Now I have a couple different recipes. One is just with onions, peppers, and it's kind of like a creamy base. I have another, actually I have 3 different. Another one is kind of like chunky and it has meat in it, and another one has like bacon in it. So it's not the same exact soup each time, but it's different. It has a little bit different flavor and whatever, and they love all of them. So I'm gonna write butternut squash, let's see, for Monday. And then I'll probably do it for Thursday. Some days I have to go pick up pig food, and Thursday is one of those days, so not everyone is around that day. So I would be able to just have that in the Instapot, or one of the older girls could have that in the Instapot to make butternut squash soup. So I'm gonna add that to each Monday and each Thursday. So what are you guys' favorite soups? I love this time of year because we get all these new types of flavors and stuff for such a short season. I love butternut squash soup. I love that heartiness of a soup this time of year, because in the summertime we love to do like these big salads for lunch. So we might have, like, we call them nourish bowls, so you just add pretty much everything in the kitchen sink into your salad. But I think fall and winter is more the time where it's like you want to throw all of those things into something warm and cozy. You want to like cozy up next to the fire, or at least in our area. We have already had a light frost, and yeah, so we have started the wood stove twice for part of the day. It was chilly. It was one day it was like raining and it was like 45 degrees. And then another day it was really windy. I think we had like part of the hurricane that came through, and it was really windy, and our heater is set at 55 because we're not really in the season to use it. So we set it like in the summertime at 55, and the heater had kicked on. So I said, yeah, we need to start a wood stove. So we need to prepare those areas this week so we're better able to use them. So we have butternut squash soup on those 2 days, and then I'm going to take 2 more days. I'm thinking Saturday would be a perfect leftover day. So let's write leftovers for Saturday. Leftover for Saturday. And so we have 3 weeks not 3 weeks. We have an extra days this month, I guess. Leftovers. Okay, and then let's make Tuesday leftovers as well. Then I have a list of, just a short list here of, I spoke to the kids about what they like and what some of their favorite soups are. So we have written down chili, split pea, chicken noodle, and beef stew, and lentils. Chicken noodle and beef stew, we actually like can some of our chicken and some of our beef. And so that's kind of a recipe that I really would like to work with some of the younger kids on, because it's more of a dump chicken, dump this, dump this, dump this, of all of our canned goods, which we like to use up because it's all from the farm, and then just adding some seasonings. And I would like for some of the kids, maybe around age 8 to 10, 12, to be able to make those types of recipes. So I think one of these is going to be, I think what I'll do is I'll rotate the chicken noodle and the beef stew for Wednesday. So 2 beef stew, and then 2 chicken noodle. And then on Friday, I think what we'll do is have 2 chili and then 2 split pea. Okay, so now that is all set. So all of our menu is all set. I will show you this. I'll at the end of the video, I'll take a picture of this and then I'll show you. Then if you want to like zoom in or whatever, you can take a look at it. So this is our menu for the month of October. I grocery shop around I grocery shop oddly. So we live in a small town and we have not very many small, not big grocery stores here. So I do big grocery shopping. It really depends if I have appointments in the city. Now our city is 2 hours away. So we regularly go to the city. Yes, 2 hours, 100 miles away. We regularly go to the city this time of year. And a lot of that is spent on buying stock up things. So most of the stuff that's here that I just wrote down, I already have. I have that stuff from the meals that I had already prepared, right? You guys saw what I had prepared for the meals. I have this stuff, like I'm using butternut squash soup, and I have butternut squash, and I have the onions and peppers already in my freezer from our garden. So a lot of this stuff I already have. I could very easily say, okay, I'm gonna make a really low grocery budget because I have everything this month. Or I could look ahead and say, how am I gonna do this? How to make better use of my money and my time? Well, if I just left it at this, and I didn't prepare anything for next month, then I wouldn't already be ahead. So I'll be keeping my eyes open for anything that's like a good sale. We'll also be putting the more animals in the freezer. And so we'll have that to go there. Things that I would probably be looking out for right now is I've noticed eggs have really gone up and our chickens are not laying. So I'll probably be trying to stock up on some eggs and possibly freezing some of those eggs. I buy things in bulk that we need. So I'll probably buy some gluten-free flours, some other flours from the city. I'll buy maybe oatmeal. I might order some oatmeal in. Let's see, what else do I buy bulk? I'm trying to think what I buy bulk, or I'll go through my beans and make sure that my beans are well stocked, because if you're 2 hours away from a grocery store that you can get your beans, that you can get your oats, and you can't get those things locally, then it's really a pain if you get a snowstorm or something like that. You want to make sure that you're stocked up, because in the wintertime I don't go as often as I do, you know, throughout the rest of the year. So I always make sure my oils are stocked up, because if I buy coconut oil, I could get that at Sam's Club for under $10. It's close to $15 at my local store. So the 2 hours is really saving. Our doctors are all in the city, okay, so to get braces, to go to like a chiropractor, all those things are in the city. So there is like a local doctor, but any like other things, like if you had to go to a rheumatologist, if you had to go for wherever, like all that's like out in the city. So we really just try to make use of our time when we do go to the city. So what do I do about snacks? So snacks in our household, mainly morning snack is a piece of fruit. It's a piece of fruit, and usually it's a banana or an apple or whatever is in season. Right now it's bananas and apples, because bananas are cheap and we just picked a bunch of apples off the tree. If you would like something, you may have a piece of fruit. And I find that when you don't make lots of sweet snacks, that they don't always want a snack, especially older kids. They'll just eat more at a meal, which is good, because that's what's giving them more nutrition, is the food that's actually in a meal. So it's okay to have, say hi. It's okay to have celery or carrots or something like that for a snack. Other snacks that we might have on occasion would be like yogurt and granola, frozen berries maybe. Sometimes I'll make like crisp, whatever fruit we have extra in the freezer, usually once a week. Right now, currently I'm making crisp. I might take apples and put like maple syrup and cinnamon and stuff and put those in the oven. Something like that. That's basically our snacks. Popcorn's a good snack and cheap. All right, if you have any questions, leave them below, and I'll try to get some of the I'll try to get my shopping trips, or maybe I'll do like a big shopping trip. I'm not quite sure. I'm thinking to do a big shopping trip, but coming up for videos, I know we're going to be making soap soon, so we're going to try and do that video, and we're going to be doing something with all those apples. Next week we are using somebody's apple press, so we'll be doing some of that, and I'm going to try and get a video of that. So stay tuned. Talk to you soon. Bye.